my name is Jennifer Trago and I am a portrait photographer, and today I'm going to be talking to you about mini session workflows using Dubsado. I've been using Dubsado now for a little over 2 years and I really love the program. It has made my business run so smoothly. However, there is some glitching with their schedulers when I'm scheduling my mini sessions. So mini sessions for me are very popular in my area, and whenever I announce them and I release them, I have a lot of people that are going on at the same time trying to book these sessions. And Dubsado does not have a way right now to kind of hold a spot when someone clicks on that date and time, to hold that spot for that client as they finish the booking process. So someone else can be on that same date and time and can take that spot. And what was happening for me was I was getting multiple bookings for the same day and time. And so I had a lot of confusion on the back end for me and also for clients, because they thought they were getting a session and then they didn't, but they were able to pay for it, and it was just a big mess. So I came up with a way to kind of work around that. I use Dubsado and I also use Big Cartel. First off, Big Cartel, you will have to use their subscription, the $10 a month one, so that you can use inventory tracking. If you do not use inventory tracking, then people will be able to buy multiple products for that same date and time. Let me show you. When you go to your products in Big Cartel, down here where it says in stock, you're going to have a set number here. And if you don't have the subscription-based Big Cartel, they will not allow you to change this. So if you have this set, then you will only get one booking for each one of these products. The way that I do this is I have clients go to my website, I have them come here and they click on the product or the session that they want, and it is attached to a lead capture form through Dubsado. So it'll take them to this lead capture form and they will fill it out. And I will just show you here. Okay, and then I just kind of give them some next steps here. And then when they click send, it is set to then take them to my Big Cartel, which is where they will select their time. They click on the time that they want, they add the cart, and they purchase their mini session. From there, that is where my workflow starts. This is the first part of the booking process for my mini sessions. So once they have completed this part, I get an email saying that I have a new lead. I go into that lead, and I will show you here. So once I get that new lead, I'll get an email and I can click on the new lead. It'll take me here, and I click on the project. And the way that I do it is I go in and I manually apply a payment here. I just hit apply payment. And once I do that, usually what I will do is I'll put over here Big Cartel so that I know where this payment came from. And once I apply the payment, I go over to appointments, and there will be an appointment listed here because it's in my workflow. I will show you that in just a second. But there will be an appointment scheduler sitting here, and I will click on that and I will go ahead and book it from there. And then the client will get their booking confirmation. So that's all I have to do is once they purchase from Big Cartel, I go in here and I apply the payment to the invoice, and then I just add in their appointment, and that's it. It is a little more work than how I typically schedule my sessions, but this was so much more smooth since I was not getting all of these overbookings, and it was just a mess before I figured out how to do it this way. It is a known problem with Dubsado with their schedulers, and they are working on it, but it has been a known problem for a while, so I took it upon myself to find another way to make this go a little smoother. So I'm going to show you the workflow. So here's the workflow in this project that I started. So my workflow, I'll go into this in a little more detail, but first I just wanted to show you how this is looking. So the lead capture form created the project status, and then it created an invoice. And I add a tag once the invoice is paid. So once I apply that payment, I'll get a paid in full here, and I'll get a Spring Mini tag. I will also have an appointment scheduler added because it's right here in the workflow. And then I have this hold actions until immediately after invoice paid in full. I put this here in case I get some new leads that actually never complete their payment in Big Cartel. I don't want them getting the workflow if they're not paying for their session. So once they pay for their session and I apply that payment here, then this one will automatically go. And then they'll get sent the contract, and then the project status will change after the contract is signed. And then I have it set to send my prep guide 2 days after they sign their contract, send an email 3 days after their appointment. And then I have it set to change project status, which I believe this one is set to, finish session. And then I archive it after everything is done. So we're gonna go over to templates and workflows, and I'll show you this one here. So I have it set as Spring Minis, and I put this one with Big Cartel at the end because I wanted to remember that this one is specifically for my mini sessions that are being used with Big Cartel. All of my other sessions run a little differently, and if anyone's interested, I could do another tutorial on my workflows that I have for regular sessions that don't require going out of Dubsado to book the appointment. But for this one, we have to use Big Cartel because we don't want to get overbooked. The first action is to change the project status, and I'll just show you what that looks like. Change project status 0 days after all previous actions are complete, and this is a new lead. And then I create an invoice immediately after all previous actions are complete, and I put the invoice right in the workflow. So create invoice 0 days after all previous actions complete. And here is my invoice, and it is to be paid in full. All of my minis are to be paid in full. This is also different than the way that I run my regular sessions. I add a tag, Spring Mini Session, add a tag 0 days after invoice paid in full, and I have my Spring Mini Session tag. Send appointment scheduler, so I have my send appointment scheduler, and it's 0 days after all previous actions complete, and then apply to project only. I do not want this going to the client because this is something I'm doing on my end. They are picking their date and time in Big Cartel, so they don't need to see this. And then I attach the scheduler here. And this way, when this workflow starts, it's just less work for me because when I go into this project or this client's project, the scheduler is sitting there waiting for me to just click and enter their date and time. Hold actions until 0 days after invoice paid in full. This is, again, so that clients that are not paying for their session in Big Cartel, I don't want them to get the rest of this workflow. And let me move this over here. Close that. Send contract. So I have this one. Send contract 0 days after all previous actions complete. Send email and apply to portal. So I have an email with my contract. So here's the contract here. And then I have a canned response email that's already attached here. And I'm going to show you all of the forms that you need to have done before you can build your workflow. So we'll go into that after this part. Change project status immediately after contract signed by client. So here it is, 0 days after contract signed by client. It's now changed to booked. Activate portal immediately after workflow started. There's that one. Send form. This is my prep guide, 2 days after contract is signed. So I have send form 2 days after contract signed by client. Send email and apply to portal. So here is the prep guide, and there is my canned response. And then I just have a thank you that I send 3 days after an appointment has ended, and you have to attach that to a scheduler. So it is attached to the scheduler that was used, and I have my canned response. And then I just changed my project status 1 day after all of the actions are complete to job finish session. And the very last one is I archive the project one day after all previous actions complete, because it just kind of cleans everything up on my dashboard. So before you can create this workflow, there are a few forms that you have to do and canned emails and things like that. So when you go into templates, you have to do a scheduler. So I did let's see here, which one? Use this one. So I created a scheduler. My scheduler is 20 minutes and I put in my dates and times. I don't use this part down here. That's if you wanted to actually email it to someone, but I don't use that. So I put in my times and then I go over here to advanced and I have a welcome message here. This just comes up at the top of their screen. And then I have a confirmation email. So this is going to be one of your canned emails. So you would attach it here. Oops, sorry, right here. And that one just basically tells them when their session is, their date, their time, and that they have booked a session. I do not put an additional form here. And then I have this redirection page that is on my website. It just directs them to a thank you for booking, which they don't actually see that because I'm the one that's booking the session. That's something I use more for my other regular sessions. And then down here, I have it to send them a reminder email 3 days before their session. So that is another canned email that I have written up, is a reminder email. And then you're going to have your forms, which you need to have a contract. So I have my Spring Mini Session contract over here. I have my prep guide over here. I'll show you what that looks like. Here's my prep guide, and it just kind of goes over different things that they will need to know for their session and things that will help prepare them for their session. And I don't really do anything on the settings here. And let's see here, go back to forms. So then the next form is the lead capture form. That one is the most important one. And this is the one that I embed on my website. So when I send the link from my website, which is right here, this is my website, when they go to Spring Minis, it takes them here, and I have this linked to the lead capture form. So you would go here and take this direct link here and just put it in on your website. You can also just share this on social media or however you want to do it. But this is how I do it. So the client fills out this portion, which creates a new lead. So then you have the information that you need. Once they hit that, there will be a submit button down here. Once they hit that, it takes them to Big Cartel. In the lead capture form, you will also need to go over into settings. And here is where you're going to add in your workflow. And I put a little thank you message, and then this is how it gets redirected to Big Cartel. I link it right here. Project status is new lead, and then I just add in the project title as Spring Mini Session, and then I put the client name there. And I believe that's it. Yes. So this is very important here in the lead capture form. That way everything can kind of go where it needs to go. Canned emails are very important to just get those done so that when you're creating your workflow, everything's ready there for you to just select and go forward with. Here's the appointment confirmation email. I create these in Canva. I just like how nice looking they are. I do use this portion from Dubsado so that they get the name of the session, the date, and the time. And let's go through. They'll get this is my contract that I send to them. So they'll get this email and I link the contract in there. I do a prep guide email, which I think is on the other page. Yeah, right here, prepping for your session. So they'll get this email, and again, there's a form link there. And then I think there's just one more. I'll do a session reminder. So this is the one that goes on the scheduler, and it goes out. I don't even have to think about it. It just automatically goes out. So they get their session reminder. It includes the session date and time and location. And it tells them a little bit, like, you know, things about preparing and getting there on time. And so once you have the lead capture form, the prep guide or a questionnaire, whichever one you prefer to do, and your canned emails, then you can start building your workflow. So once you've got all of those done, you can go back over to workflows and you can create this workflow. Like I said, this is what has worked the best for me. I've tried this a few different ways, and it has finally worked very smoothly this way. I'm not a fan of having to go outside of Dubsado and use another booking platform, but it is only $10 a month, and I can cancel whenever I want. So if I want to just use this for 1 month, I can cancel, and it kind of, Big Cartel holds on to your accounts because there's a free version. So with the free version, I believe you can have up to 5 products, but they don't do the inventory tracking. So I used this for my spring minis, and once I'm ready to be done with those, I'll just cancel the subscription, and then when I go to do my next minis, I'll just open it up again. So it's really not that bad to have to do. So once again, I kind of link everything on my website here. You can also share the link on social media, your lead lead capture form. And this is what it looks like when they click on one of those. Now, I did do something a little differently. I figured out how to, over here, it said see all products. And because of the way I have everything linked, and I didn't want people going here and selecting a different kind of session, a different backdrop, because it's all very workflow related for this specific backdrop, I didn't want them to be able to do that. So I went into the back end of this where you can kind of edit the website, and I took out the all products. If you're gonna do that, I screenshotted the code, the website code before I made any changes, because I didn't want to screw anything up. So make sure you screenshot stuff so you don't mess that up. But that is how I do my workflows with Dubsado when I am booking mini sessions. Again, my workflows do not look like this when I do a regular booking. So I shoot a lot of families and newborns, maternity sessions, all sorts. So I do not do my workflows like this. If anyone is interested in seeing how I do Dubsado workflows with a normal regular session, let me know in the comments and I'll do another tutorial. I hope that this was helpful for everyone, and have a great day.